Thank you for joining me to discuss Whatcom County's Neighborhood Native Landscaping Program, NNLP. NNLP aims to protect water quality and improve habitat in Whatcom County. NNLP is a Whatcom County program that helps homeowners in the Lake Whatcom and Birch Bay watersheds convert their lawns into native plant landscapes in order to reduce runoff, save water, improve habitat, promote biodiversity, and protect water quality free of charge. Through our unique neighborhood engagement model, the program also aims to cultivate community relationships and encourage neighbor-to-neighbor interactions. Our new model involves working on a neighborhood scale, so we recruit a group of close neighbors to participate, generally within walking distance of each other, and they're provided with planting plans, permitting, plants, mulch, and installation assistance free of charge. During a fall planting party, they will work with their neighbors and staff to get their projects on the ground. They agree to maintain the project and submit inspection reports and photos every other year for at least 5 years. After year 5, they are eligible for a $500 maintenance rebate to replace dead plants or add mulch. With this new model, we are able to concentrate the installation of native plants in a closed geographic area, increasing the overall impact. This results in a cluster of beautiful, low-maintenance yards that protect water quality and improve habitat. The program is funded by the county's 2 stormwater utilities, the Birch Bay Watershed and Aquatics Resources Management District, BBWARM, and the Lake Whatcom Stormwater Utility, LWSU, so participants must live within one of these 2 boundaries. The BBWARM district is 27 square miles and includes Lake Terrell, Point Whitehorn, Birch Point, as well as the urbanized area of Birch Bay. The Lake Whatcom Stormwater Utility Service Area includes the unincorporated portion of the Lake Whatcom Watershed outside city limits. If you're unsure if you live in either of the service areas, you can always give us a call. Contact information is available on our website and on the last slide of this presentation. Based on funding and staff resources, we are only able to select 10 to 15 properties per watershed each year. We are looking for a group of neighbors who would like to convert their lawn into native landscaping. These homeowners must live within the stormwater utility districts mentioned in the previous slide. There must be at least 3 homeowners per cluster, and residents within each cluster must be within walking distance of each other's projects, so a quarter mile or less. Individual project sizes need to be between 1,000 to 3,000 square feet, or at least 25% of improvable area. This project does not need to be one large contiguous area. It can be comprised of several small beds or strips as well. Additional scoring criteria used to assess project feasibility includes whether a property or properties is located near a stream, lake, bay, or other water body, proposed project areas are currently dominated by invasive species or lawn, or one homeowner in the cluster is willing to serve as a project leader or champion. Additional points will be given to clusters that have an increased quantity of participants in closer proximity to each other that have larger project sizes. Our program cycle runs January through December. During the winter, we collect sign-ups through our NNLP interest list hosted on Whatcom County's website. Using geospatial analysis and a scoring rubric, we determine possible project locations and reach out to clusters that meet our criteria. Individual site visits are completed between March and April. By May, we have officially selected our clusters and we have moved forward with project planning and site preparation over the summer. In the fall, we host a planting party for each cluster where neighbors collaborate with program staff and crews to get projects in the ground. So why are we encouraging folks to convert their lawns into native landscaping? The answer here has to do with how native vegetation supports water quality. Native plants and water quality are closely linked. As development increases, so do hard surfaces like asphalt and roofs that create runoff. Stormwater runoff refers to rainwater or melted snow that flows over land surfaces, particularly impervious areas like paved roads, parking lots, and rooftops. Instead of soaking into the ground, carrying pollutants like dirt, debris, and chemicals with it as it drains into nearby waterways like streams and lakes. Essentially, runoff is the excess water from precipitation that doesn't infiltrate the soil due to hard surfaces. Native plants help filter the stormwater and, if planted appropriately, help buffer water bodies from the negative impacts of stormwater runoff. Surface runoff is absorbed by the plant's root systems and water is slowly released into the ground, allowing the groundwater to adequately recharge. Native plants also capture and recycle excess nutrients before they enter our water cycle. While lawns aren't considered hard surfaces, they can be detrimental to water quality, primarily because of the excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides, which, when applied improperly, can run off or leach into nearby streams and lakes, especially during heavy rain, causing contamination. High levels of nitrogen and phosphorus from fertilizers can stimulate excessive algae growth, leading to oxygen depletion in water bodies, harming aquatic life, and making it more costly to treat our drinking water in Lake Whatcom. 1 pound of elemental phosphorus can promote the growth of over 250 pounds of algae. NNLP is a component of the county's response to the Lake Whatcom Watershed Total Phosphorus and Bacteria Tool Maximum Daily Load, TMDL, approved by the EPA in 2016. The work done in Birch Bay with NNLP is particularly important as Birch Bay is the largest recreational shellfish harvesting area in Whatcom County and one of the largest in the state. It is also one of the fastest urbanizing parts of the county, and development is creating more sources of water pollution as well as impairing the natural ecosystem's ability to filter and absorb those sources. The conversion of lawns to native plant landscapes through NNLP is also an effort to reduce water pollution and meet the Washington State Department of Ecology's water quality standards for fecal coliform bacteria in the Birch Bay watershed. These water quality benchmarks are put in place to protect public health and ensure safe recreational shellfish harvest. Native plants have many benefits. Native plants are easier to maintain, they require less water, are more resistant to pests and disease, and support local wildlife. They're considered low maintenance to no maintenance, meaning that after 3 to 5 years, we hope the plant is established enough to be self-sufficient and no longer require additional waterings. They help filter runoff, as discussed previously, and save time and money due to less lawn mowing and fertilizer and pesticide use. Lastly, native plants provide colorful and attractive landscaping year-round. NNLP is a collaborative effort between Whatcom County, the Whatcom Conservation District, Washington Conservation Corps, as well as neighbors and their communities. Throughout this process, Whatcom County supports the program year as program manager, overseeing administration, securing funds, developing policies and procedures, as well as conducting outreach and providing labor. While the WCD acts as project manager, providing technical assistance that includes completing all paperwork, designing and providing planting plans, procuring native plants, cardboard and mulch, managing mulch and cardboard installation, and planning planting parties for selected participants. As the county and conservation district assume their different roles, the homeowner's responsibility is to communicate and schedule site visits with the conservation district, sign paperwork, and help us design their planting plan by stating plant preferences. They prepare their site for project installation and help their neighbors install plants on planting day. Homeowners also agree to maintain the project for 5 years. Maintenance activities may include watering, weeding, replacing dead plants, and removing invasive species or noxious plants. Next, I'll discuss what a project looks like from start to finish. To prepare for each NNLP project year, we start by gathering information about each possible projects and schedule individual site visits with interested participants in a cluster. We assess how much square footage might be eligible for native landscaping conversion, growing conditions with consideration to soil type, shade, and existing vegetation, both on-site and within the local geographic region, and possible barriers to project eligibility. At this initial site visit, the project manager will take notes about your site conditions and, if selected, delineate the project area. Once selected using the project area, we can then determine the minimum requirement for planting density in cubic yards of mulch. To participate in the program, selected clusters must sign a homeowner agreement form and a maintenance agreement. The homeowner agreement form reviews the roles between NNLP and the homeowners, and the maintenance agreement legally requires homeowners to maintain their NNLP project for 5 years. Once the project area is delineated, the project manager may need to prepare a notification of action permit application on behalf of the cluster participants. Once a project site is selected to be in a cluster, the project manager designs a planting plan based off species availability and site conditions. Participants are encouraged to share if they have any preferences for cover type, colors, or pollinator plants. The image featured in this slide is an example of a planting plan used previously. Each plant is represented by a circle and labeled with a number, with each number representing a different native ground cover or shrub. When creating the planting plan, the project manager will work with the homeowner to determine a final plant list based on available plant species and site conditions. The next step is to prepare for cardboard and mulch installation in August. While crews will be on site to perform all labor during this phase of project work, it is the homeowner's responsibility to ensure the project site has been appropriately prepped and is safe for crews to work in. Some homeowners who wish to install edging materials, pavers, or steps within the project area must do so prior to the cardboarding and mulching phase of the project. Homeowners who are required to install erosion control measures must do so prior to the cardboarding and mulching phase of the project. Homeowners are required to complete the following tasks when preparing for cardboard and mulch prep. Remove invasive species from the project area, cut grass as closely to the surface as safely possible, remove large objects like lawn chairs, tents, statues from the project area, pick up all animal waste, and remove any possible sharp objects. Once the project site has been adequately prepped, we start by placing cardboard over the project site to smother any pre-existing lawn or weeds. Cardboard may not always be necessary for the project. A Washington Conservation Corps crew, the WCC, installs the cardboard. We put staples in the cardboard to hold it down and try to mulch within 48 hours of the install. If it's particularly wet or windy during this time, we may need homeowners to place heavy objects on top of the cardboard until mulch can be installed. We then work with a mulch vendor to blow in 4 inches of a medium brown bark mulch over the cardboard. The mulch we use has several benefits. As the bottom layer mulch starts to decompose, the topsoil is replenished by the decomposed material's nutrients. The mulch helps suppress weeds by providing a coarse substrate for seed production and insulates the plant root systems, protecting roots from extreme moisture loss or cold. By the time we are ready to plant in October and November, the cardboard will have begun breaking down and the mulch will have killed the grass and weeds underneath. Here we have some photos that show what a site looks like after being prepped with cardboard and mulch. Here we have another example of what a site looks like after being prepped. Once cardboard and mulch installation are complete, the next step is to prep the site for the planting party day. Crews will come to participants' house several days before the planting party to place plants and auger holes for planting. As a result, it's the homeowner's responsibility to ensure that the site is appropriately prepped and ready for crews to safely work on site. Again, we ask that homeowners remove large objects like lawn chairs, tents, statues from the project area, pick up animal waste, and remove any possible sharp objects. We want the crew to be safe. Once the project sites are prepped, we have planting day. On planting day, we spend about an hour planting at each property, installing native plants. We provide hot coffee and tea with treats to help keep the group energized. With help from neighbors, county, and conservation district staff, we are usually able to complete one residence in an hour. Planting parties are great opportunities to get to know your neighbors and ask questions about native plants. Here are some photos of our Lake Whatcom projects. In the top photo, you can see us using augers to pre-drill holes. You may also notice some fall colors in the photos. Our planting parties are in October and November. It's a great time to be outside and enjoy the crisp fall weather. In this sequence, we can see the project move through the cardboard and mulch installation and then to the final plant installation, with this final image including sword fern, ninebark, and salal. Here we have an example of our ideal project, a home with over 1,000 square feet of lawn. We smothered the lawn with cardboard, mulched the area, and planted several different native ground covers and shrubs, including red flowering currant, kinnikinnick, vine maple, and mock orange. The final planting photos are also just the beginning. The plants will grow in their full height and width and establish themselves within 3 to 5 years. Here we have another example where we've reduced the lawn, added beds along the parcel line, and installed native ground cover and shrubs. Over the last 2 years, we've been able to install over 101,000 square feet of native landscaping in Birch Bay and Lake Whatcom. This includes over 6,000 native plants on 47 properties. So what are participants saying about the program after they've participated? Among countless positive comments and praise, Pat and Bev Jern shared that participating in the Neighborhood Native Landscaping Program turned out to be one of the smartest and easiest decisions we've made. We could not believe the wonderful outcome, seeing our yard as a thing of beauty and helping the environment at the same time. To add your name to the NNLP interest list, go to www.whatcomcounty.us/NNLP. If you're interested in receiving updates about conservation news and events in Whatcom County, you can sign up for the Whatcom Conservation District newsletter at whatcomcd.org/event-calendar. For residents of Birch Bay who would like to learn about news and events in the BBWARM district, you can go to bbwarm.whatcomcounty.org. And for Lake Whatcom residents who would like to receive more information about news and events in the Lake Whatcom Stormwater Service area, you can go to whatcomcounty.us/2830. Thanks so much for taking the time to learn about the Neighborhood Native Landscaping Program. If you have any more questions about the program, you can reach the project manager, Catherine Kendall, me, at 360-526-2381, extension 118, or at kkIENDL@whatcomcd.org, or contact Holly Fosdick at 360-778-6290, or you can reach her at hfaulsti@co.whatcom.wa.us. Thank you so much for taking the time today to learn about NNLP. If this program sounds right for you, then I invite you to sign up on our interest list. Have a good day. Bye.